Welcome to Say More, the podcast where we expand the conversation around what it means to be human. I'm Andy Spray, and I'm here with my co-host, Emily Lawyer, licensed professional counselor, and we are answering your real questions, and while we're at it, creating a community where we can grow together, learn how to connect more to self in order to connect more to others and more to God. Hi, Emily.
Hello.
We are in season 2 of the podcast. If you were with us last week, we got started on season 2, which is really cool and exciting.
Sure is.
And we've got all these like fun new facets of podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
For example, many of you, which is so sweet, are leaving star reviews on the podcast apps, which is really cool. And hopefully it means you're enjoying the podcast. That's what we care about, right? We don't care about numerical star ratings.
Right.
But it does feel nice.
Yes. Glad to hear that it's resonating with people.
Yes, that's what we want. We want it to resonate with you. But you noticed recently, so up until this point, we had just gotten star ratings.
Correct.
And you noticed somewhat recently that we got our first written review.
Correct.
And you called me, or we were on the, I don't know, there was some phone call. And you called me to say, hey, did you see?
I was so excited.
So excited, but also tickled. You were excited and maybe something else. What was our first?
Our very first written review.
What did it
stars.
say? 5 stars.
The written review read, it's okay, I guess.
It was, I believe, it's okay, I guess.
So we felt a little bit mixed about that.
Well, here's something you didn't know that I knew at the time, that it's okay, I guess, which I kind of take as a badge of honor. That was actually written by my 13-year-old daughter. That was our very first and only review. So if you came on Apple Podcasts, if you were sharing the show or searching the show, the one and only review you could see said, it's okay, I guess.
She's keeping us humble.
She's keeping us humble. Totally as a joke, as a prank. She did it on my phone, I think, so it probably said it was from me, which is interesting. And now on my quest for merch that nobody asked for, this is a new one I would like.
I love it.
It's okay, I guess.
Please.
Can that be our next one?
Can I have a hat?
Oh, you want a hat?
That?
Okay. I want a sweatshirt. You want a hat?
I want a hat.
I just feel like it kind of sums it up. We're doing our best. We hope you're having fun, but if you're not, we still had 5 stars.
We'll take it. We appreciate the honesty.
It's okay, I guess. So that's us. We're okay, I guess. Speaking of merch, how sweet. We did have somebody make us merch shirts.
Some shirts.
This summer.
Yes.
I got one that said, surprise, I'm depressed, which I love. And then what did yours say?
Mine said, it's a 2 fillet of fish kind of day. Say more.
I like what people have connected to. I also still get a lot of comments about my eyebrows. That's like the number
one. Oh, really?
One.
That has stuck with people.
That was back in the grief episode. I think people are really taking that to heart. So everybody's checking to make sure my eyebrows are on point at all times. But we're having a lot of fun. Speaking of my kids, you spend a lot of time with our family, my kids. We did a little bit of a movie night this weekend. And my son is baseball crazy. He loves baseball. It was his time to pick the movie. And he picked a movie that I've actually never seen before.
Which I was so shocked.
Shocked I'd never seen it. He picked Field of Dreams, the 1989 classic Field of Dreams. And here's my takeaway. You had seen it probably many times. Here's my takeaway of Field of Dreams. It is the story of a man who would rather build a baseball field and bankrupt his farm rather than face the grief over losing his dad.
Rather than feel his feelings.
Rather than accept the resentment he felt when he was growing up. And it made me think of, when billionaires build rockets and go to space instead of feeling their feelings. It was kind of...
It felt a little bit like that.
It felt a little bit like that. Like, we will go through some great lengths.
We sure will.
To avoid feeling our feelings.
We sure will.
We will catapult into space. We will bankrupt our family.
We sure will.
We will start a multi-level marketing organization. We will do lots of things to not feel our feelings. And we're talking about feelings today.
We are.
And in a way, we are always talking about feelings on this show, but today we're specifically talking about feelings.
Correct.
Feeling them, avoiding them.
Correct. What we do with them.
What we
when
do with
they
them.
happen.
Okay. So in that spirit, you've got a little bit of a game for us.
I do. Just to kind of, part of what we do in this podcast is we try to make things a little more palatable, a little more digestible, and playing a game every once in a while is a fun way to do that. So, it's kind of popular right now. You'll see on social media that a lot of people are playing bracket championships. It's like, they'll give you some choices and you have to decide what's the best snack food or the best rom-com from the 1990s or something like that. So we're going to do a little bracket championship with emotions. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to let you and I are going to play, and everybody listening also play along with us.
Playing at home.
Playing at home. It's just going to let us get a little more connected to ourselves, which is part of what we do in this podcast. And it's going to let us get a little more acquainted with certain emotions. There might even be some emotions that you don't even realize is an emotion. It's just going to kind of open our vocabulary up a little bit. So we're going to start.
But then later, can we talk about rom-coms from the 90s? When we're fatigued from feeling all these feelings.
Listen, just us naming that this episode is going to be about feeling your emotions. We've already had a lot of people sign off and head to a true crime podcast where it feels way more comfortable. So yes. All right. So we're going to start with you and I are going to choose battle to the finish, which is our most favorite to feel. Emotion. So this is like the feel-good category of emotions.
And I'm going in blind. I have not seen this bracket before.
We're both going to start with the same 8.
Okay.
And we're going to go through these together, and then we're going to figure out which one we land on.
Okay. Are you going to take us through it?
I'll start us. Okay. First thing you and I need to answer. Would you rather feel satisfied or brave?
Satisfied?
Okay, so you would rather feel satisfied. I think that's the same for me too. I'd rather feel satisfied. All right, next one. Would you rather feel hopeful or assured?
What's assured? Is that like...
assured is sort of like you feel certain of something, and that emotion is
like
going to feel... Yeah, it would be sort of tangible to safety, but it's gonna here's part of what we're doing right now. Okay, this is what we're opening up. Emotions have a story that are connected to them, and everybody has a different story. So that's why you and I are going to land on different emotions as far as what we would prefer to feel or not feel, and that's we're going to keep getting into that in the episode. So try not to overthink it. Hopeful or assured? Hopeful.
In the spirit of not overthinking it. Hopeful.
All right, I'm going to pick assured for that one. All right, next one. Would you rather feel joyful or captivated?
What? Captivated?
Yes. You never knew there were so many emotions.
I didn't. Joyful.
Yeah, I'm going to pick joyful too.
Okay.
And last one, would you rather feel empowered or content?
Ooh.
Which feels best, empowered or content?
Maybe I'm going to say empowered.
I'm going to say empowered too.
Okay.
All right, now we've got some different answers, so we're going to have to go through and figure out which one lands in the winner's spot. Okay, for you, which feels best, feeling satisfied or feeling hopeful?
Ooh, hopeful.
Hopeful.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yours are satisfied or assured?
Assured.
Okay. Whoa.
Okay. Next for you, which feels best, feeling joyful or feeling empowered?
I mean, I think being empowered makes me feel joyful. I'm going to say empowered.
Empowered.
Yours are also empowered or joyful.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to choose empowered as well.
Whoa.
Okay, here we go. Your final round is, which feels best for you, feeling hopeful or feeling empowered?
I think I'm going to say empowered.
I landed on the same one.
Yours is assured and empowered? You're going to say empowered?
And I'm saying empowered too.
Wow, look at us.
We've both chosen our favorite emotion to feel.
I would have,
feeling
if
empowered.
you asked me what my favorite emotion to feel, I wouldn't have said empowered.
Well, this is the thing, right? And we even kind of know from research that if we don't have a list of emotions in front of us and somebody asks us to name certain emotions, we can only come up with 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'm like happy, sad, mad.
Exactly. That's about it. So yeah, but when
I'm
somebody
going
gives
through
you
inside out in my head. Disgust, I guess.
right. Okay, so for both
Okay.
of us, which feels best? Empowered.
Empowered. Wow, I'm kind of surprised we've landed on the same one.
Okay, now these are going to be a little less fun to feel. Now we're gonna name
Okay.
which feels worse.
Ooh, okay.
Because this is what happens with emotions, right? We've got some emotions that feel good to feel. And then there are some emotions which don't feel good to feel. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily negative or positive emotions. It's just that they feel a different way in our bodies.
We're breaking into the feel bad category.
We're breaking into the feel bad cat. This is where, not always, but this is where sometimes we start to do things to try to avoid feeling our feelings. Maybe I'm going to head to whatever my favorite place to escape is, or my baseball field that's in the backyard.
It's called TikTok. That's the correct answer.
Okay, here we go. You ready?
Yes.
All right, and you're going to pick the one that you would rather not feel.
That I would prefer
not-
like, so my least favorite of the two.
Your least favorite. Which one
Okay.
feels worse
Which one feels worse
to feel?
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Overwhelmed or disgust?
Oh my gosh, it's overwhelmed.
Same.
Asked my children.
Same.
They're always like, you seem overwhelmed. And I'm like, I am overwhelmed. Any guesses as to why?
Okay, next one. Which is worse? Feeling ashamed or feeling...
Wait, did you give me your answer? Sorry.
Yes, I said overwhelmed.
You said
too.
overwhelmed,
Mhm.
okay.
Which is worse? Feeling ashamed or feeling angry?
Ashamed.
Ashamed. Same for me. I think actually I'm getting, as you call it, a stage 5 recovering people pleaser. I think I'm getting a little too comfortable with feeling angry.
I'm just telling you, over the course of our friendship, I've seen the trajectory. Your comfort level with anger is increasing.
It's controlled. It's controlled anger.
It's controlled.
most of the time. Sometimes it still gets away from me and I have to apologize.
But we both grew up in an environment where it wasn't what good girls did.
Exactly.
Good girls did not get
Exactly.
angry. And so it's taken us a little bit. And you have a graduate degree now, so you're allowed to be
So I
fully
can
angry as
revel in
much. Yes, right.
I can revel in it. Okay, here we go. Next one. Which feels worse? Feeling powerless or feeling apprehensive?
Powerless, 100%.
Same for me.
Powerless is how I felt when I got strapped into ski boots this winter. Hated it. Hated it.
You were trapped
I've never felt more trapped
and then
less powerful and empowered in all my life.
pushed down the side of
Yeah.
a mountain.
That's the opposite of empowered, which is how I want to feel.
Okay, and our last one, which is worse, which feels worse, feeling apathetic or feeling confused?
I don't know. Confused as an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think about.
Everybody listening, yeah, you're working through. So this is the good work of getting connected to ourselves.
Okay, thank you. I guess I would less like to feel confused.
Okay, I'm going to say the same answer.
Okay.
That one feels worse for me than
Okay.
apathy. Okay, you want to start off for my
All right.
second round?
Yeah.
What do I have?
I think we have the same. Overwhelmed or ashamed? What's worse?
Ashamed is worst. How
Okay.
about for you?
I'm saying overwhelmed.
Ah, okay.
I get whelmed, people.
Okay, your next one, which is worse, feeling powerless or feeling confused?
For me, powerless. What about you?
What were my two again?
Powerless and confused.
Oh, yeah, powerless. Okay, here we are, final round. Your emotion that is your least favorite to feel
Okay.
of the feel bad emotions.
Okay.
Is it feeling overwhelmed or is it feeling powerless?
I think it's feeling powerless.
Okay,
And yours is ashamed or powerless.
and it's powerless.
What?
We landed on the same ones.
But they're kind of opposite. So that makes sense.
Yes. That's pretty funny.
We're
that
going to have
we-
to unpack this at some point because I have a lot of questions about myself with this experiment.
How about everybody listening? Would you learn about yourselves? Maybe there were certain emotions that came up for you that you realized, oh, I didn't even know that was something that I'm allowed to feel. Maybe some of them felt easier for you to answer
Some of them are going to get in touch with their anger and they're going to write it in the comment section right now. And we'll have more comments that we can look at. All right, let's get into our question of the week about feeling those feelings.
Let's do it.
Hey, my longtime pals, Emily and Andy. I love your show, but I'm needing you to dispense some wisdom my way. And here it is. How do I stop feeling bad about feeling bad?
Okay, so that was a question from our lifetime friend, Tim. Thank you, Tim, for getting us kicked off on this whole thing. But this is kind of a common thread. I mean, this came up in a conversation we were having, but this is a common thread I know you hear a lot and I've heard a lot is just, I shouldn't be feeling this way.
It's very, very relatable.
Or I feel bad because I feel this way.
Exactly.
These are the bad feelings I shouldn't be having. Anything in that vein is sort of where we're getting started today.
Exactly. And there are a lot of reasons why we might feel bad for feeling bad. We're going to start with one in particular that was sort of the context for this question to even come out of. And it's actually a theological context. So I'm going to get a little bit heady just for a quick second, and then we're going to go back to super practical and fun. So everybody just stay with me for a second. Sometimes for people who are of the Christian faith, part of the belief that we have is that when we enter into a relationship with Jesus, we sort of start to experience a new life. We have a different power source to plug into. We have a power source that is what we would call something that's renewed. So now I have a different mindset, a different spiritual part of me, right? Sometimes what happens is there's a tension that comes up because I have this new part of me that still is in a human body. And so sometimes there's a tension and it starts to sound like, well, because I have this new relationship with Jesus and I'm this new renewed spirit or renewed mind, and then I still feel this bad emotion in my body, that must mean that it's a moral failure of some sort. That must mean I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
And so often what we try to do is we try to resolve that tension by going to more theological truths, which is good. That's an important part. It might start to sound like, well, it can't be a moral failure to experience pain and suffering because Jesus felt pain and suffering. It can't even be a moral failure to ask for suffering to be removed because, again, Jesus did that many, many times. And that is a very important part of resolving that tension around feeling bad. There are a lot of other podcasts that will do a deep theological dive about the duality of man. We're going to sit somewhere else in an area where I think maybe gets developed a little less, and that is the biological truths that come along with feeling bad around feeling bad. That's one that maybe we just don't sit in quite as much. Those are truths or skills that don't get practiced quite as much. And so that's where we're going to camp out today in this episode. And it sounds like something that is really easy. It's not.
Yeah.
It sounds like something that's totally obvious. It's not. But it's also a very human thing to feel pain in our bodies. It's a sign that I've been created with pain receptors. So that's where we're going to spend our time. We're going to explore it a little bit. Step by step, I'm going to walk us through an exercise. And then at the very end, in real time together, we are going to practice feeling an emotion in real time. And I'm going to guide us through like an emotional Tenzing Norgay for all you trivia fans out there. Like an emotional Sherpa.
Okay.
I'm going to walk us through in real time.
That was a real deep cut.
He was the Sherpa for Sir Edmund Hillary.
Everest.
Everest. Okay. All right. So let's pick up with why would I even need to feel my feelings?
Okay.
What's the big deal about that? There is a direct correlation between how many of our problems develop in life and our capacity to feel our feelings. Direct correlation.
Correlation with how many how problems? Say that again.
So how problems can develop in our life.
How they develop in our
Yes.
lives. Okay.
And the capacity to feel our feelings.
Okay.
So sometimes part of the secret, part of the solution to addressing a lot of my issues is growing that capacity to feel my feelings. Okay, now when I talk about that, I usually get pushback in a couple of ways. One, people say to me, can't be that easy, Emily. That can't be it. I'm not saying it's easy. We are saying maybe it's a little more simple or a little more foundational. It's definitely not easy. It's something that doesn't often get modeled for us. It's something that often we don't have the space to practice. And so it's just, again, it's a skill that we often don't have the opportunity to grow. Now, I also hear, well, I know a lot of people who feel their feelings all over the place. And they're a nightmare. So you can't tell me that
that's some kind of solution.
Part of it is learning how to feel my feelings. Here's what I would say to that. We want emotions in the car. We do not want emotions driving the car.
Okay.
If I don't allow emotions to be in the car with me
At all,
they will inevitably hijack the wheel and drive the car. Or if they're in the car with me and I don't have any control over them, they will inevitably hijack the wheel and drive the car. So what we're going to kind of focus on is how to feel my feelings in a way where I'm in charge of them.
Okay.
Where I am managing them myself. I am regulating my emotions.
I am driving the car and everybody's buckled.
Everybody is buckled. Everybody knows who's in charge. Everybody knows who has their hands on the wheel. And that is, again, sometimes can be an underdeveloped skill. Okay, so why is it so hard to feel my feelings? We're going to look at a couple of reasons for that. First, the experiential reason. First thing, it just doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Like you and I kind of practice a little bit in our game. Distress just doesn't feel good.
Right.
Pain and suffering doesn't feel good in our bodies.
But there's so many other things I could be doing right now.
There's so many other things that would feel good.
That would feel so much better. Netflix exists right here and now.
That's exactly
That
it.
would be so much more preferable.
That's exactly it. So a big reason often why it's so hard.
It just doesn't feel good.
It just doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Sometimes also people will say to me, "Oh, all right, Emily, I'm learning how to name it. I'm learning how to name my feelings," which that's something that we've talked about in some previous episodes. But then the emotion starts to come up. It starts to happen. And the intensity of it gets so big so fast that I just start to feel overwhelmed by it. And then I try to shut it down again, or I try to push it out of the car again. So sometimes it just feels really difficult to feel those emotions and feel those feelings because it can feel like it can get away from us really quickly.
Yeah.
And that can feel overwhelming or too intense, and then I try to escape out of it. Sometimes it's really difficult to feel our feelings because we're exhausted.
Yeah.
And it feels like I'm already at my limit just living my daily life, and now you're asking me to take on the weight of feeling my feelings, Emily.
It just is too much. I'm going to say it. It's too much.
It's too much.
This is past the limit of what I can do.
Correct.
Sometimes.
Right. So all of those we would put in the category of sort of an experiential reason why it might feel hard to feel my feelings. And then there's also cognitive reasons, which is sort of where we started with the theological question.
Okay.
There might be additional stories that come along with
I shouldn't be feeling
this way. Maybe I learned those in my family growing up. Maybe I had an experience in a relationship where somebody would be really upset if I showed a certain emotion, and then I developed a belief that I shouldn't feel that feeling. I need to really push it down or stuff it or avoid it somehow. Maybe it's just sort of a societal belief that has happened. I'm a woman and women don't feel certain emotions. I'm a man and men don't feel certain emotions.
Well,
so
you know what I've been saying to you for years as somebody who grew up in the Midwest. I said, it's just on your family crest where you just shove your feelings down as deep as they can go and you cover it up in a nice Ritz cracker crumb. Bake it into a casserole.
It's so true, right?
So you might have a geographical reason as to why you're not feeling your feelings.
It's so true. It's so true. And all of them are valid. If we were to be able to sit down and explore everybody's reasons, they would always make sense. They would always make sense. What we're also asking is there a cost that might be coming along with that? And how can I grow my window of tolerance in order to let those emotions move through in a way where it maybe doesn't cost me as much? All right. So I think we're ready to start moving through.
This is just the preface.
We just wanted to let everybody feel heard and seen.
We get that it's hard.
Normalize why it's hard. Normalize that we're all in the same boat here. This is very much part of what it means to be a human. All right. Step 1 for how to feel your feelings. An unpleasant feeling arises. All right.
Check.
All right. So now as we're walking through this, everybody listening as well, go ahead and just start to let yourself maybe even think of a situation or a context, a relationship where you've been experiencing some unpleasant feelings, because we're going to use that in a few minutes. So go ahead and let yourself start to kind of consider that, contemplate, bring that to mind. An unpleasant.
Is it taking anyone a long time? It shouldn't be. There are some unpleasant things going on. You can find one, I bet.
You'll probably find they happen pretty quickly.
I got one.
All right.
I'm ready.
All right. Step 2. Your mind is launching into whatever inner story is accompanying that feeling. So record scratch, we've already hit a roadblock. All right. We got to camp out. We're heading up the mountain. We gotta stop and acclimate for oxygen. When that emotion came up, everybody listening had a story associated with that particular emotion that started to flood in. And at that point, we start to intellectualize our feelings. We start to try to think our feelings instead of feeling our feelings. Maybe the story sounds like, I'm not supposed to be feeling this emotion because someone who has a relationship with Jesus wouldn't feel this emotion. Maybe the story sounds like, I'm not supposed to be feeling this emotion because people who are strong don't feel this emotion.
Okay.
Maybe it sounds like I'm weak because I'm feeling this emotion. Maybe it sounds like this means that this emotion is going to get away from me. I'm out of control when I'm feeling. So a story.
I'm going to bother everybody.
I'm going to bother everybody. I'm going to be a burden. That's a really good one to name. I'm going to be a burden if this emotion shows up. I'm going to be too much if this emotion shows up. People are going to think
I might get rejected.
I might get rejected. Do you hear how many you and I are just coming up with on the fly?
So many.
Right? There's thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands.
So you start to feel it, and then you immediately hit the roadblock of intellectualizing it or hearing things that you believe about yourself.
Absolutely. Or any kind of story that I picked up along the way. And then we try to start thinking our way out of the emotion instead of feeling our way out of the emotion.
Okay.
This is just a bonus that I'll throw out. Technically, what's happening is our bodies are in the flight of fight or flight. It's my body trying to get away from itself.
From the discomfort.
From the suffering, from the distress. It's just where it goes is into thoughts.
Interesting.
Into stories.
Okay.
So like if you're someone who experiences ruminations a lot, where the thought just keeps running and running and running and running, that might be a sign that is your body trying to get away from itself. that might be a sign that it's your body saying, I don't want to feel whatever distress or whatever discomfort is coming along with an emotion. So let's try to get out of it by just thinking our way out of it over and over and over and over again.
Interesting.
But technically what's happening is we're in the flight part of
We're
fight or
trying
flight.
to escape ourselves and we're stuck in a loop.
That's exactly well said. That's exactly what it is. And then what do we usually do when we get caught in those thought loops? We try to apply good thinking to it, right? We try to say, well, I shouldn't be thinking that because that's not true or it's irrational or whatever. It might be, but I'm not going to be able to think my way out of it. I have to feel my way out of it.
Like you said, what do we do when we get caught in those loops? And I just froze because I'm like, I don't know. We go for a run and try and run away from ourselves? I don't know. What do we do?
Well, sometimes, yes, actually.
Literally, sometimes I physically, I'm like, I have to move and run away.
Yes.
Get in my car
I've gotta
or go
gotta
move
get
my
away
body.
from it. Yes.
Because I have to escape this.
Right. So when we're trying to think my way out of the emotion, also, what do we know about emotions? The more I avoid it or the more I try to push it away,
it's going
the
to
stronger
hijack
it gets,
my car.
the more persistent it is.
Okay.
It's going to get bigger. It's going to stick around even longer.
I'm almost strengthening it by ignoring it.
It could get strengthened by us ignoring it. Exactly.
Okay. It's just growing somewhere in the corner.
Correct. So we can get caught up in this and it can feel incredibly frustrating and disheartening and at times even somewhat hopeless.
Yeah.
In that I'm doing all these things and I'm trying and these emotions just won't settle down.
Yeah.
They just won't diminish. In fact, it feels like it's getting bigger and bigger. That's because it actually is. You're not imagining it. It actually, that is the experience that we're having. It could include, some of those stories could include ways that I try to minimize what I'm feeling. Well, it's actually not that bad. It's not as bad as I'm making it out to be.
Right.
It could include one that we've visited in our prior episodes, something we call spiritual bypassing, where maybe I try to use something that's really true and good, scripture, in order to think my way out of an emotion.
Right. In order to avoid feeling what I need to feel.
In order to avoid feeling what I need to feel.
That's the classic build a baseball diamond in your farm technique.
That's exactly it. And so, like we're saying, again, there are so many different ways that we can intellectualize or try to think our way out of our emotions. And often we've developed that particular skill so well that it just happens automatically. We will go from step 1 to step 2 just like that. It happens automatically. So figuring out a way to even hit pause can be a challenge. And that's a little bit of what we're doing today, even in just naming what's happening for us. All right. So if I don't want to do that, that unpleasant feeling arises and then all those stories start to come in, maybe the story isn't minimizing, maybe the story sounds like I'm not supposed to be feeling this. Maybe the story sounds like if I start to feel this, it's never going to stop, which is a big one that I hear a lot.
Okay.
So what do I do instead? What should I do or what do I do? I think we've covered what we do instead.
Okay.
What would allow us a way to not think our way out of the emotion?
Okay.
We're going to practice redirecting it back into our bodies. This is where we get to practice some acceptance of what's happening for us. And by acceptance, I don't mean we have to like it. By acceptance, what I mean is we're just recognizing that it's happening.
Okay.
It's real. It's happening. And here's the way we're going to do that. We're just going to use some words that describe the sensation that's happening in our bodies. So it might sound like I'm feeling tightness in my chest. I'm noticing that my hands are shaking. I'm noticing that my breathing is getting short. I'm noticing that it feels hard to take a breath. Mm-hmm. I'm noticing that there's a lump in my throat. I'm noticing that there's tears in my eyes. So everybody listening, these are some different ways that we're going to use just to, again, bring us very gently back into our bodies. Now, we might also, as I'm moving us into step 3, we might find, already don't like it. Let's go back into thinking.
I hate this already. Truly, I'm sitting here and going, no, don't like that.
and there's a reason, right?
Yeah.
Because we just haven't, in order for that to feel comfortable for us, we have to have had safety at some point to let that happen. Safety within our own selves, or safety in the relationship where I first learned what to do with my emotions.
So can I back you up and just make sure we're going up the mountain the same direction? So we're feeling the big feeling. We first stop at what am I believing to be true?
Right.
Is that?
Yep.
Okay.
There's some story.
There's some story
that's associated with that emotion.
That's making me want to avoid it.
And making me want to think my way out of it.
Think my way out of it, so that I'm stuck in the thinking my way out. That's not working. The emotion's getting bigger.
Correct.
I'm feeling increased distressed. And now I have to go in a closet somewhere and say, I notice my hands feel tingly.
You sound so excited.
I'm noticing a little tightness in my chest.
Yeah, but yes.
Okay.
That is it. You've got it.
Okay.
You've got it. And okay, let's go back to what I said. So many of our issues in life come out of the challenge of letting myself feel the emotion when it's happening, because it doesn't feel good. Suffering does not feel good. Pain does not feel good. Distress does not feel good.
So are these just the feel bad emotions?
Not always. That's a really good question.
Thank you.
That's a really good question. Sometimes feeling happiness. There's a story associated with feeling happiness that comes in.
So anytime there's a story that's getting you out of the emotion and into the thinking realm. It could.
Yes.
So any emotion that happens for, you could be going through this process.
Yes. For some people, feeling safe is a really unfamiliar feeling. It's a really unfamiliar emotion. Feeling loved is a really unfamiliar emotion.
So they might be experiencing some of these same things.
Absolutely. Again, this is so much of why we wanted to do this podcast.
For me personally.
No. The complexity of what it looks like to be a human in this world is so vast, and everyone is working through this in a different way, from a different background, with a different story. And so all of us being able to recognize, my fellow human is walking with me in this, and we're all on this same journey, trying to figure out how to live in this hard world together. It allows us to have so much more acceptance and compassion for what's happening for ourselves, and be able to connect to other people in a different way as well. All right. So
where are we at in our journey?
So we've been growing that window of tolerance to kind of redirect it back into our body and use those words in order to kind of stay with it.
Is this the same thing as grounding, kind of?
That's step 4.
Oh, sorry. I'm jumping ahead.
So you're starting to go into that just by naming what's happening. Then
just literally naming what's happening, what I'm feeling.
Naming the
in my
sensation
body.
and what's happening.
Okay.
Now I can start to ground myself a little bit. Okay. Maybe I need to breathe. Maybe I need to do some box breaths. Maybe I do need to go for a 5-minute walk and just kind of focus on the sound of my feet hitting the sidewalk, or pay attention to what I can hear around me or what I can see. Maybe I need to shake out my hands. I'm a big fan of one where you can squeeze your hands into a fist and then open your hands and shake it out. It might be tears, right? So all of those things that we start to do now at this point to help me stay with the feeling enough for the emotional wave to reach its peak, so that it can move through my body. Those grounding exercises can be really, really helpful. Maybe it's I need to go ask for a hug from somebody.
Okay.
Maybe I need someone to hold my hand. Maybe I need someone to just sit with me, and just their presence lets my body stay with that distress a little bit more in order for it to move through. And as I'm naming all these things, right, I'm naming our vulnerability as humans. This is also partially why it feels so uncomfortable.
Yeah, because I'm thinking how much I don't want somebody to sit next to me.
At 100%. 100%.
How much I'm not going to ask someone to hold my hand.
How I'm not going to ask someone to hold my hand.
Yeah.
And that is where our connection with God can come in and be such a beautiful place for us to find that comfort and that presence. Maybe I'm not yet at the place where I feel okay asking someone to hold my hand. I do feel okay asking God to sit with me in that distress. I do feel safe inviting God into that place. And so anything that I can do when that really uncomfortable, distressing pain starts to happen for me, anything I can do to help to kind of stay with it and manage that distress, whether it's breathing or taking a walk or inviting someone else and their presence to be with me in it, can be really, really helpful to move through that wave. All right. So, I think we're there. Let's go with one more question.
Okay.
As we're walking through this, you might be wondering, Emily, do I have to all my feelings?
Again, it's just exhausting.
Because this sounds like way too much. This sounds like way too much. Here's how I'm going to answer that question. And it's the same way.
I'm not getting through a Tuesday. This is a full-time job.
This is a full-time job.
Can't some of them be paused?
Sure.
Can I just give a little bit of I'll get to you later?
I'll get to you later. Yeah, I'm going to answer it the same way I've answered a lot of that similar question in prior episodes, whether it's how can I tell if I'm healing in my trauma, or how can I tell if I'm growing in emotional maturity? How can I tell if I'm interacting with my grief in a healthy way? We're always going to be looking at process instead of product. We're all
process instead of product.
We're always going to be looking at how is my agility or flexibility growing in me being able to step into this type of process. Am I able to step into this way of feeling my feelings a little bit more easily than I could last month? Am I able to access some compassionate acceptance a little more quickly than I was able to a year ago? We're always going to be looking at measuring how much is that flexibility happening for me, as opposed to, I did it perfectly every single time. That's always what we're going to be looking at as a marker.
So even as we're growing in this way, we're not getting it perfect every time from here on out.
No way.
We're seeing the process of, am I more able to do this than I could before?
Than I was able to before. And am I able to move into it with more ease, with more flexibility? We might even use the word agility growing in that. That's always going to be the marker that we're looking for.
Does it feel less intense as you go, or no?
As you practice?
Yeah.
Yes, it can. Because that, like we said, that window of tolerance grows more.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, here's the analogy that I like to use for window of tolerance. It would be like if I had a shot glass full of water and I poured a cup of salt into it, and then I handed it to you and told you to take a sip. What would you do immediately as soon as you took a sip of that water?
Spit it
out. You have to get out of it as soon as possible, right? But if we grow the container, if we grow the window, and let's say I have a gallon bucket of water and I pour a cup of salt in it, and then I tell you to take a sip, it's still not going to taste good.
Right.
But I'm going to be much more able to tolerate it, to stay with it, rather than having to get out of it as soon as possible.
Okay, I like that. So as we are practicing and growing, we're not taking away the unpleasant taste or the distress our bodies might feel, but we're growing the tolerance and our ability to feel them.
Feel it, to stay with it, and to be in charge of it instead of it being in charge of me.
To stay with it and to be in charge of it, to name what's going on, and then more than that, feel it all the way through.
Correct.
From rise to fall, and as it crashes out like a wave.
Correct.
We have done it the whole way through. We've stayed in control of it. And now next time, we're a little more comfortable.
Exactly.
Okay.
You got it. You got it. All right. Here's my mic drop moment for the episode. Do you want to take a guess at what we have learned as to how long it takes for that wave to happen from the moment that the unpleasant feeling arises to being able to stay with it long enough to feel it in my body to where the wave can start to grow, which is what it needs to do in order to reach the momentum where it can move through. You want to take a guess at how long we've learned that takes?
I'm scared to answer because it feels like it takes a really long time. And I'm afraid you're going to say something like 2 minutes. And really, we've been dragging it out for 2 months. I don't know.
That's why I said this is the mic drop moment of the episode.
What is it?
60 to 90 seconds.
Oh, I'm averaging 60 to 90 days, I think.
You're not alone. A lot of us are there. So here's what we're going to do.
Okay. So really legitimately.
That's
If I'm feeling, where's my feel bad emotions? If I'm feeling ashamed, if something brushes up against me and I'm feeling ashamed, it but it could potentially only take 90 seconds.
Correct.
Of me to heal that or feel that, let it rise and fall.
And let it move through.
Instead of thinking my way, running away, avoiding it, shoving it down, having it grow. And then, I was joking about 60 to 90 days. Some people are dealing with things for years.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're not saying that, every wave looks the same.
Okay.
Right? Some waves are bigger than others. And there are going to be some waves that are going to just keep hitting me over and over and over again. But what we've learned is when that emotion happens, if I can stay with that one particular wave, when that unpleasant feeling arises, it actually can move through pretty quickly.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the clock for 60 seconds.
Oh, no.
And I'm going to walk us through this whole exercise, and we're going to do it in real time together.
Okay.
Okay. I was thinking earlier, you know how, like in the Calm app, you can have celebrities read you through. And I was like, we need to develop Matthew McConaughey walking through this.
Okay.
Where he can,
if there's
all right. Time
AI
to get down there.
chatbot who can turn into Morgan Freeman, just gently speaking my way through this
Morgan Freeman.
distressing emotion.
Andy Dufresne didn't want to feel his.
Yeah. Or I need the radio. I need Delilah to come speak it over me. Okay.
That's good.
Start the clock.
Okay. All right. And we're gonna do this in real time. You're ready? Everybody listening, you ready?
Okay.
All right.
Ready.
Here we go. An unpleasant feeling arises. Your mind is launching into whatever inner story is accompanying this feeling. Stop. You are thinking your feelings. Redirect your mind away from the thoughts and into the sensations in your body. It might sound like my chest feels tight. It might sound like I'm noticing there's tears in my eyes. It might sound like my hands are shaking. It might sound like my leg is shaking. It might sound like I'm noticing I feel tense all over. Take a breath. Breathe into the feeling. We're just allowing it. You might want to shake your hands. You might want to walk. You might want to even jump. You might feel like crying. Your mind is really going to want to go back into thought story mode. When that happens, just keep redirecting your awareness back into your body. We're almost there. Keep taking deep breaths. Keep feeling into your body. Let the feeling exist. and trust that it will leave. It's changing. And notice that you have survived. Okay. We did it.
We did it. I had my eyes closed the whole time. I hope if you were listening to this driving, you did not close your eyes. But this might be one people have to go back and listen to again, this little last minute nugget.
Yes.
As we're feeling the things.
As we're practicing that. And it is a skill that just takes practice. And I commend, if you've stayed with this episode until the end, well done, brave souls.
If you did not leave for true crime by now, you're a real one. So that's how we know you're along for the journey. We're so glad you're here with us. We hope you continue to join us as we journey deeper into knowing ourselves and connecting more with others. We want to hear from you. If there's a topic or a question that you have, please. There's lots of ways you can check the show notes. There are ways to send us messages. You can write us a review. It's okay, I guess. That's how I feel about today. It's just okay. We are looking to answer your questions and to continue these conversations as we dig in the dirt in the messiness of humanity together. We're so glad you spent time with us, and we will see you next time.